Hi, it's me, Rachel Lynn, and today's Monday Madness is why my credit score matters. So I'm putting out a little disclaimer here and saying that everything that I talk about here applies to me. I might say you, but that's just because I don't really check my pronouns very well, so just keep in mind that everything that I'm talking about is applying to me. Now it might apply to you as well, but this is just like why my credit score matters to me. I'm not really going to talk about what I'm doing about it right now. That is another video for the future, so this is just why it matters. So I am following Dave Ramsey's plan for getting out of debt and living a financially free life. However, because I am kind of disagreeing with him a little bit in just this one video, he might actually say I'm not on his plan. That's okay. All of the inspiration for helping me get out of debt and all of that came from him, and I don't want to take that credit away from him. If you've heard or if you follow Dave Ramsey, you know that he says the credit score doesn't matter. So Dave says the credit score is just an I love debt score, and why would you need a debt score if you no longer need debt? I agree with Dave on this in so many ways. However, the difference for me is that there's a huge difference between having no score, like Dave recommends, and having a low score. And as long as I'm in debt, I will have a score. There's no way around that. Having no score at all, it's easy to tell people, I just don't use debt. And you can kind of prove it because you don't really have a score. But when you have a low score and you tell them, well, I no longer use debt, your history shows something different, and they can say, well, yeah, you do, and you're just not very good at it, and you're just lying to us because you have a low score. It looks like I can't handle money and I can't be trusted with anything that they want to provide for me or give me. And I'm not just talking about more debt. The credit score comes down to several different factors that, yes, all have to do with debt, but for most people that are trying to approve you of something or trying to get you into something, they just look at the number. And a lot of times, they don't even look at the number, they just see whether or not you were approved by an automatic approval or disapproval. And so while you can work around that a lot of times, that takes a lot of extra time and effort. And if we go by the saying, time is money, there's a loss of money there. So here are the reasons that I need my score to be better. First of all, jobs. Now, my current job did not check my credit score, but I have had jobs in the past do that. It didn't really affect whether or not I got the job, but it does kind of tell them what they might want to offer to pay me because I can be trusted with money or not. Now, does a credit score really tell you if you can be trusted with money or not? I will agree with Dave on this that it doesn't really, but they don't look at that. They just see a number and they think that you can be trusted or not. Going back a way long time ago, my very first cell phone, I signed up and I didn't have a credit score. And you know what ended up happening? I had to pay an extra more than $200 to get my first cell phone. This was just extra money that I just had to pay because I didn't have a credit score. Now, I probably could have looked elsewhere, maybe found a better deal somewhere else that didn't charge me this extra charge just because I didn't have a credit score to prove myself, but I didn't do that, and that was a mistake on my part. But just that one number at that one point in time cost me a lot of extra money. The next reason why my credit score matters to me is renting apartments. Now, there are plenty of apartments that will not check your credit score, that's true. However, most of the more reputable places that you would rent from, they do check your credit score. Maybe you can work around that, maybe not, but like I said, having a low score really impacts me even if there is a way to work around it. I have gotten apartments, places, and had to pay an extra deposit just because my credit score wasn't good enough. It might be an extra month's rent, it might be an extra couple $100. It just kind of depends on the place, where the apartment is, who's running it, and all of that, but it has affected me. Now, right now, I live at home with my parents, and thankfully they didn't do a credit check on me, but eventually I'm going to be moving out, and whether I try to get into another apartment or I try to buy a house, which I'll get to in just a moment, it's going to be important that I have a decent credit score when I'm looking for an apartment because especially in a big city like I'm in, most of the places that are a decent place to live, they're gonna probably check my credit. I'm gonna want it to be good so that I don't have to pay as much in a deposit. Now, for a house. Now I am considering possibly going from my parents' house to my own house. Dave recommends all the time that you try for underwriting for a mortgage if you have a no credit score. Now I don't know how that works if you have a low credit score, if they're willing to still do underwriting. I'm pretty sure he said that it has to be none. I don't really know how long I'm going to be in debt because a large portion of the debt that is in my name, my parents are paying for. Once I am out of my graduate loan debt, I'm gonna be saving to move out on my own, even though my undergraduate debt is still being paid on. Probably, maybe, I don't know. It just kind of depends on how my parents deal with it. And as long as it's being paid, I'm gonna let them deal with it the way that they feel like it should be dealt with. So I might very well be considered in debt, having a credit score for a much longer time than I am technically in debt for myself and ready to move on. Now I will be helping my parents out and stuff like that once I'm out on my own for that, because that is my schooling, and even though they have promised to pay that back, I've made mistakes with it, and I want to kind of help out with those mistakes that I've made in helping that amount grow so high. But I won't be putting as much on it like I am with my graduate degree. My graduate degree, it's going down. Gazelle Intense, going down, paying it off as fast as possible, and then I'm going to branch out on my own and just let my parents kind of deal with my undergraduate loans because they have promised to do so, and then help them out probably kind of anonymously a little bit, unless they see some of my videos you know, about me talking about it. But then things may change in the next couple years and my parents may be able to pay it off completely. Anyway, I don't know. But this does make a huge difference for at least me, because I might be in debt for a very long time, thus having a credit score for a very long time when I am personally ready to buy a house. So having no score is very different than having a low score. So I don't know that manual underwriting would work if I have a low score. So for me, I feel like I should have as high of a credit score as I possibly can by the time I'm ready to move out on my own, whether that's an apartment or whether that is in a house. So along with that, whether it's an apartment or a house, also comes utilities. I have had to pay a higher utility deposit because of my credit score. If you don't sense a theme here, I've lived a very long time of my life with a not so great credit score. And so I have definitely felt the effects of what it's like having a low credit score. And this is why I feel like I need to try to get that score up and have a really good score so that my future is not burdened with so many extra payments, extra deposits, and losing out on extra money. The last one of why my credit score matters is car rentals. Now, I don't really rent cars very often, but sometimes that happens, especially if I want to go on a long trip and I want to save the wear and tear on my car. And with car rentals, I have actually had to put an extra deposit on the car rental because of my credit score. So for me, it really comes down to paying more just to get established, or paying more monthly because my score's not that great. And why should I pay more? That just makes things harder for me. I want to try to get my score as high as possible and keep it high so that I can save my money in all of these areas. And in some cases, it might even affect my job or future jobs on what I get paid. So those are all of the reasons why I think my credit score matters. I'd love to know what your opinion is on this, but if you do disagree with me, that's fine. I just ask that you please remain civil in the comments. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you agree with any of these, or if you disagree, I'd like to know your opinion on that as well. If you feel inclined, I would love it if you would like this video, and also if you like what I have to say, please go ahead and subscribe. I make videos about getting out of my student loan debt and losing some weight along the way. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.